welcome everyone to the first final preview of Premier League 360. My name's Ben Tapper-Patton, Stephen front end loader back on deck. Hey?
Back with a bit of knowledge and sensibility this week.
I don't know about that, but it was a pretty big weekend. There was some controversy, there was some good scoring, there was some ordinary scoring. We had it all this weekend.
I went to the footy Saturday night and I was sitting there and all of a sudden my phone lit up like a Christmas tree with all these Facebook posts and text messages about controversy in this week, so we'll cover that a little bit later.
We'll talk about it a bit later because it's pretty in depth, so we need to go over it properly. But we'll go straight into the results. So we only had a couple of matches being the first final, and the first one was to get into the grand final straight through, and reluctant heroes after last year's defeating or straight sets.
Port Adelaide type choke, yeah.
They've gone one better this year and had a win straight into the grand final. 147 beat the Fockers 141, which is pretty good scoring by both teams, really.
Yeah.
Reluctant heroes led by Kev Drennan. You know, he saw Richard on the range on Friday, late Friday afternoon, I think it was, from memory.
Had a bit of a lesson.
Yeah, and he's come out and just blown them out of the water.
44, Scholesy 38, pretty solid. Jonesy, yeah. Steve Jones 33, and the Snag.
Oh, mate, the
Snag hardly.
Must have had the right colours on his fingernails on the weekend.
32.
Yeah, the Fockers, Sook Healy, Craig Healy, 37 again up there. Pete Durant, 36. Stu Mance, I haven't mentioned him much this year, so he's might be coming good at the right time of the year, 35. And Jonty up in there in 33. So a pretty close match, but I think Kev Drennan's 44.
Yeah.
Just easily got him over the line. So
I don't remember a bigger score than that.
No, only Heather last week was 66. Was probably the you're not getting into Richard's little books of not watching the show, are you? You can't remember that. Yeah.
No, 66 isn't as good as 44.
Close. It's pretty good for what
are you going to say? Pretty good for a lady. Well, yeah, that's what you wanted to say.
It wasn't going to come out that way, but pretty good for what they've been doing over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so. We've got to go and talk to Cole Johnson.
Yeah, I've been around him too long, so. But anyway, we'll move on to the next match. Now this is the elimination final, and this is where it all started to get a little bit messy here.
I would like to issue an apology to the party boys for the error in not including Peter Bowden's score in their team total last Saturday. This resultant loss, rather than a win, would have ended in a sleepless night of what could have been. The error can best be described as human error, me being that human. Maybe too many of the sponsor's product, as I put in the scores. To Mixed Bag, I'm sorry that the ecstasy you would have felt in your revenge of the harrowing grand final defeat of 2014 has been stripped away from you. To the party boys, I have no doubt I now will not have an invitation to your party. However, Peter, I am sorry I overlooked the day you dragged your team to victory in the heat of finals pressure. The one good thing to come of this is that I've now got my head on the highest rated GPL show in the country, the original and best. It is actually fantastic to see how GPL has been welcomed so much at your club and so enthusiastically by everyone. Paula, keep going. I'm sure next season you will build again. In all seriousness, we'll be automating scoring in the very near future through the support of the golf industry, and thus the ability of humans like myself to make errors will be eliminated. Sorry for the mistake, and I will, as I'm sure you will, go and enjoy your sponsor's product responsibly. Cheers, guys.
So I think originally we had the Mixed Bag and winner by Mixed Bag and winner by 1 point earlier on in the night, and it was Jay Scott got on the front foot early and protested.
Facebook protested, and I looking in between my beers at the footy, I went, this can't be good. Thought he was tongue in cheek for a minute, but then
when Steve rang me first thing Sunday morning and said, "What's happened with Premier League?" I said, "No, the Mixed Bag have had a good win," and said, "No, I don't know about that." So we looked into it further, and we noticed that Pete's score hadn't gone on, and which is people would have been pretty angry about that since he went out there in the sludge and the rain and
played late,
and played late, 33 points, and that eventually got him over the line, really. So
great effort actually.
So the official score, Morgs, official score, it's all done and dusted. It's sorted. So the Party Boys beat Mixed Bag 132 to 130. Again, Pete Borden's 33 really did the job for him. But Mark Kelly 34, Jay Scott 33, and Paul Carey 32.
Sort of tale of mixed bags. Whole season was sort of this match really. They just not quite there this year, and
No,
for
we
whatever
said,
reason.
Yeah, we said it earlier on, they needed things to go right, and they didn't go right on the weekend. No, they went horribly wrong, so probably don't deserve to win with 130 anyway, really.
No, you when you got 28s by Pete Hyland being in your top four, you're sort of relying on a bit of luck. So
Yeah,
bad luck.
but
And
yeah, it was unfortunate that happened. It's been, no mistakes or no controversy like that in the 2 years we've had going, so it is bound to happen, but I'm glad it happened to him anyway. It was good. It's good to see. Anyway, so Party Boys are through. They'll play the Fockers next week to play the Reluctant Heroes in the grand final. But we'll move on to Hero of the Week.
Has to be Kev Drennan.
Yeah.
He hasn't really had a great year, but then I guess when it really mattered, just smashed it out of the park.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And you'll need to probably keep that form going to the grand final.
yeah,
They're missing a couple of players of Jade Bennett and Scalzi have booked trips, early season trips, end of season trips, that away, and then we had a bye halfway through the season, and that stuffed their whole plans whatsoever. So they'll be in Malaysia, so they're unavailable. So Reluctant Heroes going in with 6 into the grand final can't be good.
No, it's going to make it tough. You could generally probably cover one, but it creates a fair bit of pressure on the remaining team to.
Scalzi's been up there nearly every week.
Yeah, Jade probably.
In and out a little bit.
Jade could have went after the first round, really.
He could have, yeah, probably. So, he hasn't done a whole lot. No.
Hasn't fired a shot.
I don't think he's worn his uniform once. So yeah, as I say, it's probably not the ideal situation to go into a grand final 2 down, but I guess there's not much they can do about it.
If Kev keeps having 44 points though, they're going to be hard to beat.
Only need a couple of scores after that, really. So yeah, so he's definitely got the Hero of the Week. No doubt there. So Villain of the Week, probably I don't really want to give it to him, but for the amount of work he does, and he makes our job a whole lot easier in here. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah. And we don't have to check on his work either.
No.
For the first time in 2 years.
Yeah, Tony Craswell, I'm sorry mate, but you're the Villain of the Week. It's a good apology, so we'll let him off, but he's still got a cop villain, I'm sorry.
Yeah, might give him Steve Morgan's phone number. They can have a little chat.
Okay, yeah. Team play, and it has to go to Keithy McCormack. Now he's, unfortunately they've lost, but he's given up probably golden ticket of the year, really. Golden ticket.
Couldn't wait to get rid of it.
I don't think you can buy these over the counter. They're just, you can't get them anywhere. I don't know how he's got hold of it, but he's got hold of a corporate box to Essendon and Melbourne on the weekend, and he's given that up to play in the pouring rain and try and get his team over the line. And
as you would.
No, I'd be at the footy any day watching those two teams.
These stinking Bombers.
So yeah, no, it has to be Keithy McCormack for giving up that box ticket. He said he goes every year, but still, it's a pretty big thing to give up.
So he does donate to charity. Then,
I think he's a Melbourne supporter, isn't he? I think. Yeah. I'm not sure, but anyway.
Sorry for Essendon.
Either way, it's a good effort. It just shows you the pull that this event has to go out in the rain and cop that and cop what happened at the end of the night. So
now, so our Sook of the Week. Now we've had a first here. We've had 2 people. Obviously come from our controversy. Steve Morgan and Jason Scott.
Yeah, Jason was at the front door of the pro shop 5:30 when I got here on Sunday morning, just tears. I said, "What's the matter, mate?" He goes, "No, you got to fix it. You got to fix it." He's on his hands and knees, just pleading with me to fix what happened. I had no idea what he was talking about, but then it all came out. And
Morgs, I had him on the phone. He broke down in tears. He was shattered, crushed man, and trying to find every excuse under the sun.
He's still trying to do that.
He's still trying to get it over the line. So an unprecedented incident. We put this one to the vote of the other captains, and I'm sorry, Morgs, but they voted you in as Sook of the Week.
So. That's 2 weeks running too, I think.
It is.
He broke his driver last week in his dummy spat, and he's had another dummy spat this week. It's spit, and he's copped it.
Although I will cut him some slack. We didn't have the scores sheet up on the board inside, which we did get into him early in the season because he didn't write his team scores on.
And he couldn't. Yeah.
This week he actually couldn't do it even if he wanted to. So we'll take the rap for that.
Just the word is going around town too that he actually finished the ground with Pete Borden too.
Yeah,
Pete's mates pulled out on him and he's actually finished
the round.
So I'm not sure I'm not sure if it was actually Morgs, but part of his team finished off with. I know Pete didn't want to tell him which team he played for.
Yeah.
So he's actually finished the round with him. So he knew the score was there, so there's no reason to be sooking. But anyway, he's copped it again. So yeah, this is probably going to be the best segment of the year, I reckon. This is tool of the week, tool of the year, decade, whatever you want to call it.
I've played golf since I was 13, now 43. I have never heard anything like this story before for our resident Sook of the week, Craig Healy.
Craig Healy, yeah. Now he's brought this to our attention. No one else has told. He's told us ourselves.
Tool of the week, year, decade. Forget about anything else that could happen. Fill us in, Ben.
Well, we're at the counter on Saturday, and he came up to me and said, "I don't know if you have a tool of the week on Premier League." I said, "Mate, we can do anything. You know, we can make anything up." And he goes, "Well, I've got to self-confess one." And he goes, "I was on the 14th West the other day. I was playing with a few boys. I think he said John Racanella and a couple of others." And I said, "Hang on a minute, Steve. You've got to listen to this." And so he said, "You know, I'm walking halfway down the fairway, and I said to the boy, I said, I can't remember where my drive went." And he's thinking really hard. He's 150 metres down the fairway. He's trying to work out which way he went, whether left, right, whatever.
He's not 50 yet.
No.
Snags.
And he's put his hand in his pocket, and his ball's still in his pocket. He hadn't even teed off. So I don't know how you can do it. I don't know how your three mates can walk off the tee not saying, "Mate, you're going to have a shot." But I haven't heard of anything that before.
In all the times I've been playing golf, I've never, ever seen anyone forget to tee off.
I rolled around on the ground for about 10 minutes. He's absolutely pissing himself about that.
So, Snags, we've got a couple of things that might help you. One of the ladies has donated a bead counter to you. I'm not sure that one will help you too much, but we've also got an electronic score counter here. So when it's on 0 at the start of the hole, mate, it means you've got to hit off. So
you can't top that ever.
No.
So, but yeah, we move into the or whatever you call it. It's not a second semi, but prelim. Is that it? Prelim. That's it. Yeah, we're on it. Party Boys and the Fockers now. It's going to be a good match. I'd say the Party Boys will still tee it up in the morning.
They haven't really hit their straps all year, so
no.
Maybe they're due, or maybe it's just.
Peter Metallic had the week off last week. I don't know whether he's back this week, but I don't know if he adds anything to the team. But
no.
But having 8 on the park definitely helps.
We wouldn't know whether he played anyway. He could have come up to the counter and we wouldn't have seen him anyway.
Exactly. He has to jump up and down a few times so he can take note. But so yeah, I'm not sure if he's back. The Fockers have been playing pretty well. They'd be hurting after the loss last week.
They were on 41, wasn't it?
141. So
which is not a bad score.
No,
so
it's going to win nearly every week.
They produce that again, I would think they'll be hard to beat.
Well, they were talking that the Reluctant Heroes had never beaten them going into last Saturday, so it's their first win or loss against Reluctant Heroes. So they will be hurting after that.
A bit like 42, doesn't hurt to keep playing, I think. So some of the Reluctant Heroes might actually take next weekend off. And I don't know whether that's
it's probably not
a great formula.
So
I actually like the Fockers to win it from here. There you go.
They'll go pretty close, I reckon.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Fockers this weekend. I think. Yeah, as you say, Party Boys just haven't really shined at all this year.
No.
They've just got through, and that loss to the ladies a couple of weeks ago.
I saw Harley hard-working Harley in the car park this morning, and he's actually doing some work, so he tells me so. It's affecting his golf.
What's he doing at golf on a Tuesday?
Yeah, that's right.
He's obviously not working too hard, but it'll be a good match. 1 week to go, then we're in the grand final, and then we've got the
grand final
dinner, Brownlow night, so that'll be good fun. Make sure if any other teams that aren't in the finals are watching this, that they get along to that night, because it will be a good night. We don't want to see empty tables there. We want to see all the teams get around it, and
it's a good night, a lot of fun.
It is, yeah.
Look back food, drink. The season it was, and we can. If someone knows where Craig Healy's house is, you better go and pick him up.
He'll forget it's on anyway. So, but it's a good night. Who knows? You mightn't be in the finals, but you might be a Brownlow contender. So you might win something.
That's right.
Yeah, probably a couple of teams can stay at home. They're probably not going to win anything. But anyway, come along. We'll see you next week.
Good job.
Yep. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, CUB.
Thanks,
see you
everyone.
next week. Thank you.